Hi everyone, it's Sintang Mayumi. I'm back with multiple cards using Altenew Perfectly Perfect stamp set. I love this stamp set because you can build floral arrangement on your card and you can use it for any occasions. I mounted the stamps that I will be using on my Stamp Perfect so I can stamp them all at once. And then I will emboss them with Ranger Gold embossing powder. The ink I use is Versamark ink and the paper is 90-pound Strathmore watercolor paper. I use 90-pound watercolor paper because I will be fussy cutting them after the coloring is done. I use 90-pound paper so the paper is not too thick to fussy cut. If I have the coordinating die, I can use 140-pound watercolor paper. I'm always forgetting to use my powder tool before stamping, but it's okay. I can use a dry brush to remove some of the powders that I don't want on my images. I also use scratch paper to catch the excess powder and then I can funnel that back in the container. And then I will melt all the powder with my heat tool. After all the powder is melted, I set them aside so they will cool off for a few seconds and I will start coloring these flowers and leaves. And I'm using my Daniel Smith watercolor paints to color my images today. I did very simple coloring, nothing fancy, and I don't mind if the color is outside the lines because I will be fussy cutting them after. For the background, I use this Dilutions Right Between the Lines stamp set. I just use the straight lines. I will stamp the lines directly on my card base, and my card base that I'm using is 110-pound Rose Petals cardstock from Michaels. I will stamp the lines multiple times with Versamark ink and emboss it with the gold embossing powder, and again I forgot to use my powder tool, but I'll just use my dry brush to remove the excess powder that I don't want on my card base. I did melt all the powder with my heat tool. I also use Mama Elephant brush strokes stamp set on two of my card base. I'm going to splatter some watercolor paints on the background using the same colors that I use on the flowers. and I'm just using my paintbrush here to splatter the paints on the paper. And then I can arrange the flowers on the card. I will place them on the corners of the card and just tuck in the leaves behind the flowers. For the sentiment, I use Hero Art's All Occasions Messages stamp set. I use scraps of black cardstock and I will emboss the sentiments with Wow Opaque Bright White embossing powder. I end up not using the Hello Friend sentiment because it was too small for me to add on the card. And then I will cut them with my Fiskars trimmer so I can get a straight sentiment. I'm die cutting a couple of this Hello Friend sentiment die from Mama Elephant because I don't like the Hello Friend that I embossed earlier. Now I can adhere the sentiments on my cards and I'm placing them in between the flowers. For the inside of the cards, I have leftover colored flowers. I will adhere the same color of flowers and I will also add some of the leftover leaves and tuck in behind the flowers. And lastly, I will use my Spectrum Noir Sparkle Pen to add shimmer on Hello Friend die cut sentiments and all of the flowers on the cards and inside the cards. And my cards are finished. I had fun coloring and fussy cutting all of the flowers and leaves. I know a lot of you hate fussy cutting, but fussy cutting for me is like coloring too. It's fun and therapeutic. I hope you like today's cards, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.